I think that's one of the bigger opportunities and nice things about this architecture approach is that you can go more modular and you don't have to go kind of big bang all at once like we're used to in our previous platforms.
I'm Matt Alberts. I am the Vice President of Global Solution Consulting here at commercetools, and I've been with the company for 3 years.
Thanks, Matt. I'm Kyle Barz. I look after the IT and direct-to-consumer capabilities within the Mars Wrigley segment. Specifically, one of our bigger ones is the M&Ms.com business, as well as our physical stores that we have. I've been with Mars for a little bit over 22 years.
Thanks for that, Kyle. So you've been at Mars for 22 years, but tell us a little bit about the digital channels and the brick and mortar locations.
Sure. So I'll start off with Mars. Mars is a privately held company with a little bit over 35,000 associates. We have 4 different segments. We have the Mars Pet Care segment with brands like Pedigree and Whiskas. We have the Mars Food segment with a brand like Ben's Originals and Seeds of Change. We have the Mars Edge segment, which is heavily focused on human health nutrition. And finally, the segment that I work with most closely, which is Mars Wrigley, with great brands like M&M's, Snickers, Skittles, and Orbit. Then I have the opportunity to really work closely with the more direct-to-consumer aspects of Mars Wrigley. So we have the 7 physical stores, the M&M's World locations, one of which is based here in Las Vegas. If you get a chance to go check it out, I certainly encourage you to. Then we have a store in Disney Springs and Orlando. We have one in Mall of America, New York City, London, Berlin, Germany, and Shanghai, China. And then on the digital side of the business, we have kind of our biggest online presence within Mars Wrigley is M&Ms.com. And M&Ms.com is heavily focused on going online to personalize your M&Ms. So you can pick your colors, upload an image, select text to print, etc.
That's great, Kyle. So tell me a little bit about, you talked about the digital channels. So when did you initially go online, and tell us a little bit about that?
So this always makes me feel a little bit old. So since I started at Mars 22 years ago, I have been in the e-commerce space really the entire time. So Mars started our journey online about in the year 2000 with a brand which is actually based here in Las Vegas known as Ethel Chocolates. We moved from what was then a heavily catalog business and started increasing our online presence. And then over the years, we actually did a lot of kind of R&D work to start up different brands, launch them online, test to see if they would work, get consumer feedback. Some of those shut down over time. Some of them actually stuck and became what they are today. So one of the big ones, of course, is the M&M's presence. First, it started out with just being able to select from different colors online, select M&M's merchandise, eventually evolved into the personalization process that we have available today. So we've been in e-commerce and direct-to-consumer for 22 years. It's a bit unusual for such a large CPG to have such a big history there.
No, certainly I'm sure that's given you a lot of experience working with a lot of the platform providers out there in the market these days. So, certainly when you approach commercetools, what type of challenges were you having at that time that really led you to go to market and look for a solution?
So we were actually at this kind of interesting confluence of a few different opportunities within Mars. One is we have an emerging kind of B2B opportunity as we think about e-route to market and the way that we interact with many of our customers, like more of your traditional customers like bodegas, et cetera, and other markets that buy our product. Today we have a very large sales team that goes to visit all of those outlets. So there's a big opportunity there for us to kind of digitize that whole process. Secondly, in Mars, we have a lot of brands that are looking to start up and test, kind of getting back to that prototyping that I was mentioning a bit ago. But today, every time we want to launch a new brand, we have to go out and source a platform and go through all the process to get that platform tested and validated and spun up, which takes a lot of time. And in the era of e-commerce, we don't want to lose that precious time. And third, we have a lot of opportunity within the M&M space specifically to bring together our physical stores, the physical M&M stores that I spoke about a minute ago, as well as our digital presence to create more of a cohesive ecosystem. So those are kind of the three big drivers that really made us go out and evaluate the different platforms that we had in place, and ultimately have selected commercetools to move forward with.
No, it's fantastic to really hear about the business initiatives that are really driving you forward to change. So, as you went through this process, or coming on the other side of the process, any advice that you'd start to share with others in your situation, or others considering looking at a solution like ours?
So we're still very much on the journey. We just started actually the whole implementation project earlier this year. I would say that the first learning that I've had and would share is it's definitely not easy. I would say I wouldn't expect to get it right on day number one, and it's something that you can evolve and learn into. I think that's one of the bigger opportunities and nice things about this architecture approach is that you can go more modular, and you don't have to go kind of big bang all at once like we're used to in our previous platforms. So my encouragement is really to think about how you can kind of evolve and learn as you go and iterate and prototype. I think, that's about it.
Okay. No, that's fantastic. So thinking about this, one of the impacts that we've seen in our customer base, either shortly after adopting this type of technology or starting down this path, it changes a lot of the conversations that you have with business leaders in terms of what are the possibilities or what are the opportunities that open up. Have you found anything in those early conversations that have really, turned you from no, we can't do it, we don't have roadmap, we don't have time, into yes, I think we can do that, and I think we can do it quickly?
Yeah, I think the biggest opportunity as we think about the future is we've been on this history where we've had to re-platform sort of every 2 to 3 to 4 years in order to stay up to date with where the consumer is evolving and their expectations. So as we think about the new approach, the new architecture, the new platforms, really I think the biggest benefit for our future will be the fact that we don't necessarily need to re-platform every 3 to 4 years. Another huge advantage that we're really leaning into is really trying to avoid vendor lock-in where possible, so that we can continue to go with best-of-breed options when something new presents itself, or if something's not working, then it's a little bit easier to replace that one component with something different. I think certainly another huge opportunity for us in the future is really that kind of flexibility of being able to add to our digital ecosystem. So as the consumer's expectations are evolving and trends are changing, we're able to capitalize on those much more quickly.
And I think you've captured kind of some of the core mission, right? That we don't know where the consumer is going to be next. We just want to make sure that we have the opportunity to get there. Is it really the mark?
Yep, absolutely. Yep, perfect.
Well, I appreciate the time.
Yep.
Thank you for that, for sharing a bit of your journey with us. And we look forward to seeing you successfully launch later.
Very good. Thanks, Matt.